You know that moment when you have a perfect earnings report? Yeah, this one was out of the park. Their share price went up by 16% in one day. Now with these earnings reports, and I'll do a summary here in a second, the data is important, that's one thing, but the other thing is the conviction and the confidence of the CEO, or in this case, two CEOs. You have Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters. Well, that call, that was something to watch. These guys and their leadership team, they were so calm, cool, collect, confident on what they're doing and where their share price is going. It was like the perfect earnings report. So I'm just going to summarize it here. But first things first, let's dive right into Tykr. So you can see that Netflix is on sale. Score is 67 out of 100, which is pretty good. And that margin of safety, this is huge. That margin of safety is 89%. Share price of 406, fair value of almost 1600. What this tells us is there's a lot of upside potential with this stock. Now, if we jump to the earnings calendar, you can see they beat their estimate by 6%, almost 7%. So that's outstanding. But let's dive right into what's going on in this stock. I actually don't have any negatives to discuss. It's all positives. Starting off with that revenue increase. The revenue did not just increase in the United States, it increased in every other part of the world. So what they do is they break up their territories into 4 territories. So it's US and Canada, revenue increase there. Then they have Europe, Middle East, and Africa. There was an increase there. Latin America, another increase, and then Asia Pacific, another increase there. Now a threat that, or maybe a little bit of a concern that happened in 2023 was that writer's strike. The writer's strike and actor's strike, it lasted about 5 months. Well, on September 24th, the WGA announced they had reached an agreement with a tentative agreement with the AMPTP. There's an acronym for you. It's the American Motion Picture and Television Producers really network. And they announced that, hey, this is coming to an end, which means more content will be produced. Now, Netflix, they didn't see a big hit with content production, but again, it was a threat. So what happens is less content going to Netflix, HBO, Disney, Amazon, and of course, theaters. Even one of the movies I was looking forward to in November was Dune Part 2, and that's now been pushed off to March. Okay, I'll have to be patient and wait. Anyway, moving on. So speaking of content, here's what's coming out right now or coming out very soon. And we'll touch on some of the shows first. So The Crown has been a big hit. Then we have Berlin. This is a spin-off of Money Heist. That whole franchise, the Money Heist franchise, has just been doing phenomenal. This is one I'm looking forward to. This is All the Light We Cannot See. This is actually, one of the creators is Sean Levi. He has been a director for Stranger Things. He's also, he was the director of Free Guy, and he was the director of The Adam Project. Both Free Guy and Adam Project have Ryan Reynolds. This guy's batting 1,000. And then as far as movies to look forward to on Netflix, we have The Killer, which is with Michael Fassbender, directed by David Fincher. David Fincher directed Seven, as well as Fight Club, Social Network, and a whole bunch of pretty well-known movies. So that should be pretty good. And then the big one I'm really looking forward to, I mentioned in the past, is Rebel Moon, directed by Zack Snyder.
Between justice and revenge.
Shh. One moment. I do love this part.
They also talked about partnerships with some of their competitors, in this case HBO. You probably saw, if you're using Netflix, you saw Band of Brothers added to Netflix, and that's great because what we're doing is Netflix is able to license content from other locations, other platforms, bring them into the Netflix ecosystem, therefore add more value to Netflix, which of course increases subscribers. Now, a key driver on Netflix continuing to grow was the latest move on locking down passwords.
No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
I know there are a lot of people out there that were sharing the Netflix password with, I'm not kidding you, 15, 20, 25, sometimes 30 people. There's data on that Netflix was letting people know, like, hey, we got to do something about this. I mean, Netflix is a pretty low price as is, but Come on. So what they did is they, of course, made sure you can't share passwords with others, and then they changed their prices. So their standard price with ads is $6.99. So again, it's $6.99, pretty low price there. You're still seeing ads on the platform. You can remove that. You can get standard, which is $15.49, and then you have premium, which is $22.99. Now, one thing I have to point out is something what I call the Netflix index. This is not something they talk about, but Netflix has done a great job with making prices affordable to people all around the globe based on where they're located. And they'll also see it in their native currency. For example, if you're using Netflix and you're in India, you're going to see the prices in rupees. Or if you're in Europe, you're going to see euros. And you're going to see a conversion there that makes it more affordable in your region, which is a really smart play. So right now they have 247 million subscribers on the platform. That's up from about 230 million a year ago. So lock those passwords down, use the Netflix index pricing, and keep producing more great content. And on that note, their production budget for context here for producing content in 2023 was $13 billion. Well, they already talked about 2024. That's going from $13 billion up to $17 billion. That is a great sign. And this is a detail to pay attention to, is Netflix doesn't just produce content in the US. They have different production companies all around the globe that produce a lot of great content that we've seen. For example, Squid Game, produced in South Korea. That was a major hit. We've got a lot of great content coming out of Europe, as well as India, even South America. We're starting to see more content from that part of the world. So go down Netflix. There's still a lot of room to grow here. I know some people are afraid of this stock because, well, don't you think we've kind of maxed out the subscriber counts in the US? Well, keep in mind, the US is still growing, but it's the rest of the world. You keep putting out more content, you're going to get more subscribers into the platform. We have the password lockdown in place and the affordable pricing with the advertising bolted on. This is a smart play all around. So if you like the stock, this may be one to consider adding to your portfolio. Aside from the stock itself, I'd love to hear what you guys are looking forward to. What TV shows or what movies? I'm a total movie nerd, so I want to kind of see what people are watching. I'd love to see that. And of course, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more like it, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to find some other good stocks and keep track of those stocks, I invite you to join Tykr for free.